Let's talk more about the Senate hearing and drug war.
Human Rights Watch senior researcher Carlos Conde joins us live via Zoom. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me, Angelo and Angela.
Yes, of course. Siyempre, ito na po yung
Did I get that right?
Yes po.
Yes, that's
Tama
right.
naman po. Different po yung claims on crime rate. Pagdating po sa issue ng crime rate, ano po yung masasabi niyo po dito?
Well, it's something, yung crime rate, that's very, very debatable. No? Sometimes kasi they trot out statistics depende kung makakapag-support ng kanilang mga contentions. So, and of course, meron tayong mga agam-agam minsan sa mga figures na nanggagaling sa police because we know that the police sometimes have this tendency to massage the statistics. So we don't really know. And this is something that has been going on for a long, long time, even before Duterte. So, at the end of the day, siguro, the communities would feel it. But gusto ko lang i-point out na yung sinasabi nga nila, for instance, Davao City was the safest country in the world, in the Philippines. I lived there for more than a decade, so I know the situation there. And you can say it was, except that there's always a climate of fear and people are also dying. So, it's all relative to some degree.
You mentioned about yung Davao being the safest place. No? There have been claims about that, but there was also statistics citing madaming murders na nangyari na unsolved. No? No less than the President Duterte, inamin naman niya to dahil sinasabi niya, mga napatay naman kriminal. So parang ang messaging nito is, it is safe kasi yung mga murders na sinasite daw sa statistics ay deaths of criminals. So ano yung take mo dito?
Well, that's the thing here. That's actually at the heart of all of this, because what Mr. Duterte is saying is that these suspected criminals should not be afforded due process. At yun ang nakababahala. And in fact, our criticism of the drug war, of how the government is waging its anti-illegal drugs campaign, rests on this really, if I would say so, egregious mentality that people who commit crime or who look like they would commit crime don't deserve due process. In fact, sa Senate kahapon, lumabas ito nung nag-testify yung si Randy De Los Santos and Mr. De La Rosa, interpolated him at sinabi yung kapatid pala niya wala nang ngipin kasi daw sunog-sunog na yung panga niya dahil sa kagagamit allegedly ng droga. Ang sinasabi niya, okay lang natirahin niya mga yan. Wala nang due process. And that's really the scary part of all of this. And it was normalized during Duterte's time and then reinforced yesterday during the Senate hearing.
All right, I'm assuming you watched the hearing yesterday, so any substantial takeaways from that hearing?
Well, one, this is something that did not surprise me. Duterte's conduct there, the way he took control of the Senate floor and just ran away with it. He dominated totally. He hijacked the whole proceedings. And that's not surprising. We expected him to do that. What we did not expect, though, is for the senators like the chairman, Coco Pimentel, to be so,
Giving.
I would say, mabait sa kanya. I mean, except for Senator Risa Hontiveros, nobody was questioning him in any significant way. And that is just a really, really sad spectacle to see yesterday. These are senators who are supposed to to hold officials like Mr. Duterte to account, and yet halos they give him so much leeway and they were so deferential to him that it was frankly very sickening to me.
Yeah. Now this whole hearing yesterday, it's all over national television. May mga archives on that on social media. I'd like to ask, you mentioned a while ago the word due process, and then it was talked about extensively yesterday. Sabi ni Pangulong Duterte, he did not order the killing directly, but he did stimulate the policemen. He told them to stimulate the criminals to fight back para mapatay na sila, para hindi na magkaroon ng congestion sa kulungan, hindi na mag-logjam sa korte. What is the liability of President Duterte with what he said yesterday?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't. I can't say the legal perspectives or the legal principles behind that. But clearly, he is a very astute individual. I mean, he's a lawyer too. So he's a very astute individual and he knows kung ano yung, what will put him in trouble. So he will say things in the Senate that would resonate to a lot of people, to ordinary folks, and that will make him look like he's really tough on crime. But at the same time, he stops short of really incriminating himself. Na even when he said si Bato or sa other generals are death squads, meron siyang may qualification ng konti yun. The way he said it, the way he, used the phrase death squad. And even yung mga pag-amin niya, for instance, it was off the cuff actually. Sinabi niya meron siyang sariling death squad na privado ng mga gangster. I mean, later on he prevaricated. He sort of walk back on that one, but by and large, he was really very careful not to implicate himself on the others. So this is something that lawyers would really need to parse very, very carefully to determine kung alin dito yung culpability.
At some point, Mr. Conde, dumating po dun sa point na si Senator Bato de la Rosa minsan siya na po yung sumasagot at ang nagtatanong na po mismo ay si Pangulong former President Rodrigo Duterte. What do you think of that?
Well, we have to keep in mind that the Senate hearing was the initiative of Senator Bato de la Rosa and Senator Bongo. And they did it for a reason. Alam nilang baon na sila sa allegations sa Quadcom sa lower house, right? And they needed to counter all of that. And they see that the Senate will be the perfect platform to do that. They're there, meron pa silang mga allies dyan. And, if there's one thing that you can say about Duterte is that he only goes into a situation where he can control it, where he can control the environment. And he felt, clearly he felt that he can control the Senate because of Bato, because of Robin Padilla, because of Bongo. And that's exactly what happened. And then, syempre, andun yung mga populist rhetoric niya, the same old populist rhetoric about, going hard against crime. And ito yung bleeding heart moment niya when he was telling us about that story of a mother who was pagulong-gulong sa harap niya sa Davao. That's also why he was really sad about the drugs. I mean, all of that, hindi mo kasi pwedeng yun isang tabi because those things happen.
Yeah.
The problem is that this president is exploiting it for political, to boost his political stock, and that's the problem.
Anyway, that's good, but so much to talk about. But we hope we can have you again to pick your thoughts about this. But for the meantime, thank you very much, Human Rights Watch senior researcher Carlos Conde, for joining us on Brunch.
Thank you.